Welcome back to my table. On this episode or video, I like the sound episode, we're going to make this pendant right here using one of my favorite types of wire, the 12 gauge aluminum. For the wrap, we're going to use 24 gauge colored copper, and the bail will be, 24 gauge, and then the bail is made out of 20 gauge. And then what we have here is a 14 millimeter bead and a 10 millimeter bead. So what I start with is a piece of 12 gauge aluminum, roughly, let's see, the mat here is 17 inches, so about 12-13 inches. And what you first want to do is take your 14-inch bead, get it as close to center on the wire as possible. Then you want to bend both ends in the same direction, like so. Okay? Now, if you got one end long and the other, as long as you're somewhat close, it's no big deal. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take one wire and wrap in one direction. Then you take the opposite wire and you're going to go in the opposite direction. So this is what you should have so far. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep going around the bead. Like so. Now you'll notice on top two wraps and two wraps. We're going to keep going, but when you go on the side here, you want to go along the other side of where the wire is and do the same thing on the other side. Go on the other half. Now what you want to do is you want to hold the bead. You see where the wire goes when it goes through the bead. You just want to pinch each side. Put your finger and thumb over where the hole would be. That way you roughly get an idea where the halfway point is. And you just back off the wires a little bit. Like so. Now, see the top here. What we're going to do next is just very lightly go over to 3 on a slant, turn it around, and you want to mimic it. So you got, they run parallel again. Now the next step is we want to straighten the wires so they go back up like so. So what I do, just raise up on the wires a little bit, take a pliers, and you want right where it crosses, you want to try and stay in the middle and just bend up on each side. And that's what you should have right now. Okay. Now next, what we want to do is we want to start to form this midsection right here. Now to do that, that's where your 24 gauge wire comes in. Roughly, it's about an 18-inch piece. And what I do is just pick a side, it don't matter which side, wrap around about 4 times. Like so. And then you want to just make sure it's a nice pin together. Now what we're going to do is push this down, but we're going to snip this little piece off real quick. I just take the pliers and don't pinch it too tight. You just want to get the burr end of it down. Now what you want to do is slide it all the way down, and you want to go just past the bend. Like so. Then you want to squeeze these back together, get the wires parallel. You want to do a quick weave. So you want to, I go first, this is a small area. I'm going to go around 5 times around both. 3, 4, 5. Oh, you don't want to pull too tight. You want to try and keep that gap in the middle to make it easier. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5. Push them down so they're tight. And I go 6 around one side. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Get the wires back to parallel. Push your coils down to give a nice tight look. So this is where we're at right now. And then the last, one more set of 5. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then now what you want to do is just, you're in the back, bring the 24 gauge up in between and pull it off to one side. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start forming each side. So for me, you're probably going to see it on the left, but this is my right hand side. You just want to pull this down, but try not to put like a kink. You want to keep it nice and rounded when you pull it down. So it looks like that. Whoop. Now if this other wire, or the other side, you just want to bend it the same way, just a little bit, because now we're going to form the loop the bail goes on. So take a round nose. On mine, I've been doing about halfway. These are like short stubby. And just pull it around. Then what I do is I take the flat and bend it back the other way. So this is what you should have so far. And now you want to take your round, put it back in there. Don't squeeze too hard, but you want to close this up like so. So they're touching. And you got your loop. Now, this wire that you had when you had brought it up, now you want to wrap it and lock the loop closed. Here, it's just a matter of taste. I go about 1/3 of the way up into the loop. Then you go to turn it to the back and you want to lock it in. And all I do is I stick the wire till it comes through. And snip it off. You probably get away with about half the wire I cut off. I just like the extra length because my hands it's easier to pull it tight. Okay, now just straighten it out a little bit. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the next bead, which is your 10mm. Just slide her up like so. Now what you want to do, or what I do, is I bend back into the pendant. So hold your bead as stiff as possible. Bend the wire around the bead and go over this bump like so. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your cutters and you see where the hump is. You want to just trim that extra off of it. And voila. got that side done. Then all there's left to do is you want to make this spiral. I roughly go, say about, if you got the arc down about to where the halfway point is here. Cut it off. I usually use my flat nose, it's easier to control. Get right on the end with the tip. Turn in towards the pendant. So we got started right there. And this is personal taste. You can make it as tight or as loose as you see fit. And that's basically it. What I do just to touch up a little bit is I take a nylon pliers, or you can coat pliers with tape, or the magic goop, whatever you use. Just flatten things out. Then you get your bail. And you just made a pendant. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try and make one. Let me know if you like it. To have a good time working with wire, I suggest looking on Facebook for the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, created by Heather Boyd. I'll put a link in the details. If you want to see more of my work, I'll put a link to my Facebook craft page, Tim and Deb's Crafts. And till next time, everybody take care and be good to one another. Thank you.